lines. The official definition of open source, although it's written very differently, is almost equivalent to the definition of free software. It doesn't, that's the other thing. Almost everyone misunderstands that term. It's even worse than free software in terms of likeliness of misunderstanding. It doesn't mean what you think.
I'm living proof, okay. So what I was going to ask, though, was there's an underlying infrastructure. There's the chip that is hosting the
Well, the chip is
software.
a physical object.
It's a physical object.
Yeah.
But it's clearly something that has a bunch of IP bound up in.
You should never use that term. You should never use that term.
Okay.
Right, because that's confusion.
Okay.
Yeah. Intellectual property, quote unquote, refers to several different laws that work totally differently and are about different things.
Okay.
And to treat those laws as if they were one is total confusion already. It means misunderstanding what the laws say and what they do.
And that's apart from the fact that much of intellectual property law is actually about intellectual theft.
But in any case, to speak what?
You want water?
I guess so. To speak as if there were a thing called intellectual property is terribly confusing.
Or to speak as if it was property in any form.
I mean, there is copyrighted works, there is copyrighted text, but it's not clear that anything in a chip is copyrightable. The circuits are not copyrightable.
Okay. Well, all right. So
and patents do something totally different. There may be patents that are infringed by making a chip, but every patent is about a general idea, and many different things can infringe the same patent even though they're quite different from each other. So the patent isn't in the chip. So it's really confusing. It sounds like it makes sense because it's based on a totally wrong view of what copyright is and what patents are and what trademarks are and what trade secret contracts do. And
might I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Sure. I'd gladly pick up this conversation after, but a lot of people here know this topic really well, and there's a lot of other members. It's okay.
In any case,
and I'll pick up the
ideas of free software don't apply to a chip because there are no copiers for them. And they don't really apply to a chip design because we don't all have fab lines.
Okay.
But someday, 50 years from now, that may be different. 50 years from now, it might make sense to say, I insist on running computers made that I compiled out of free computer designs because I wouldn't trust anything else. But that world is imaginable, but it's not the world of today. And it's very important not to insist that we solve all the problems that the world may have in the future today, because technical advances that will make certain theoretical problems become important may also give us the means to solve them.
Like an algorithm, it seems like to me that's a discovery. There's no basis for a patent.
Well, that's a different question. You're talking about whether legally it should be patentable based on patent law and its traditions. But I think of that as a policy question. I don't ask, or at least I don't think the main question is, based on the tradition of patent law, what answer would come out. I ask, what's best for society?
And you may well think that algorithm patents are evil, like I do.
Well, I think they're evil also. But the reason is because of their effects, and not just because of what the tradition of patent law happened to say.
Can I bring us back to your phone call for this lengthy conversation? Sorry.
The phone call that came to the question of Skype.
To make Skype brings to my mind, where do you draw the line? Can you use a cell phone? Because cell phone.
Well, these days, actually, I've never had a cell phone. I have never owned or possessed for any length of time a cell phone.
What is
And the reason is, but that's something that. But listen. This is a complex set of issues here. 10 years ago, a cell phone did not function as a computer for the user. Nobody could install software in their cell phones. But there was a very bad thing about cell phones, which is they were tracking devices. Big Brother knows where the phone is. Not even when it's supposedly switched off, Big Brother still knows where it is. And I felt that that's simply unacceptable and that it was my duty as a citizen not to participate. That is why I have never had a cell phone. And later on it became possible to turn them on remotely to listen to people. So crackers could do it, and of course the phone company could do it, and Big Brother's men could do it, which is the worst danger of all. And I found out that they transmit these signals even when they're supposedly switched off. And still, every so often,
at least take the battery
you have to take all the batteries out to make them stop. Well, as the technology advanced and the phones became more powerful, it got to the point where you could install software in them. And that meant that they were functioning as computers for the user. And that crosses the line that I concluded was the relevant line, to the point where you cannot ignore anymore the issue of free or non-free software.
Sorry, we should just let you know it's just coming on to 7:15.
Is the pizza here? Shit. I'm hungry.
It's due to
Well, anyway, so I'll keep speaking and answering questions a little bit longer before I give up and leave without eating. But in any case, because, I had a microwave oven a long time ago, I think, or else I at least saw them. And it occurred to me that maybe there were programs in them, but I didn't really know, because you can't tell. No, but what you know is that if it is a computer in there, users are not installing software in there. So the result is it might as well be a circuit. You can't even tell whether it's a circuit without taking the thing apart. So it might as well be a circuit. What about what?
What about an ATM? Do you ever use it?
I don't own an ATM. I don't have an ATM.
Okay, it's about owning, not using.
You're using vague words, so you're asking meaningless questions that don't enable me to give a meaningful answer. I don't mind using somebody else's computer once in a while, regardless of what software it has in it. If I'm visiting somebody that has a Windows machine, I'll use it to browse the net for a few minutes if it's convenient for me to do so. It's not important. It's not an important right or wrong for me whether I will touch this computer. But what I won't do is have one set up for me running non-free software.
That is, I wanted to know where you draw the line.
Well, I wasn't clear to me because there are many different lines about many different issues. I didn't
But
understand.
can we go back to the phone? You had got to where the phone had become a computer and you could install software.
Right, so that meant that the free software issue applies to it also. That's the case nowadays. Nowadays, if you have a cell phone which which has proprietary software, then it's just like having a PC with Windows. And it might even be Windows. Who knows? But the point is, it's just as wrong. There's no important difference between them now. But 10 years ago, there was an important difference. 10 years ago, the phone was more like the microwave oven. And the only thing bad about it was that it was like a microwave oven that told Big Brother every time you cook anything.
So how do you feel about OpenMocha?
OpenMocha was a good thing. I spoke with them about several issues to make sure that what they would do would fit what I think are the right standards.